Opposition parties are firing their first shots over President Cyril Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address. Members of Parliament in the Cape Town City Hall this afternoon debating the President's take on the country's priorities. This debate takes place over 3 days. Today and tomorrow is the response of opposition parties and other politicians, and then of course we'll hear the President's response on Wednesday. Today the DA accusing Ramaphosa of inaction, party already apparently filing a motion of no confidence against his entire executive. ENCA's Lindsay Dentlinger joins us for more. Hi Lindsay. So the DA says the President's State of the Nation address is straight from its playbook, which is actually, of course, something John Steenhuisen said straight after the State of the Nation address on Thursday, doubling down on that today during this debate. Tell us exactly why they're saying that.
Well, firstly, Sally, you're right. That's what they were saying on Thursday already when they emerged from the City Hall after that address. But largely the President's take on how to grow the economy and how to create jobs. We will know that the DA has long said that government cannot be relied upon to create all the jobs, or rather be expected to create the number of jobs to assist all those who are unemployed, but rather that it should bolster its state and its infrastructure and create the environment for the private sector to create all those jobs. And that is one of the reasons they are putting forward. And of course the President talking about alternative energy forms, creating competition in the market to end load shedding, and then of course those appointments of external people to help cut the red tape, though the DA had already previously tabled a bill to that effect in Parliament. And also we know this long-standing promise of the President to create an advisory council on corruption. That hasn't happened since his last State of the Nation address, but that too was something that the DA had proposed and is still proposing to produce a bill in Parliament to that effect. But key, Sally, as you point out there, the opposition now tabling a motion. It informed the House today, a motion of no confidence in the entire executive, which is quite an interesting take, Sally, I should point out, on motion of no confidence. We know in the past the tendency has always been to file a motion of no confidence in the President, but the DA opting for the alternative which the Constitution provides for this afternoon, which is against the executive and then excludes the President. So in the former, if a motion of no confidence succeeds against a President, automatically his whole cabinet has to resign. But the DA now taking the option of tabling this motion of no confidence in the executive, not the President, but should that motion carry, it would force the President to appoint a whole new cabinet. And that really is the upshot of John Steenhuisen's address to the House this afternoon, pointing at all the ministers in the President's cabinet, a bloated cabinet, I might point out, that they still take umbrage about, and saying that they will help the President to appoint better people to this executive to carry out these commitments that he's making to the state. But here's John Steenhuisen during his response to the President's State of the Nation address earlier this afternoon.
So, here's what's going to happen, Mr. President. Because you've shown that you're a president of talk and not a president of action, we are going to make it easier for you. Today, I've tabled a motion of no confidence, not in you, but in your whole cabinet, in terms of Section 1021 of the Constitution. If it's not possible for you to do right by the people of South Africa, then we're going to take the burden off your hands and let this House fire them for you.
Very quickly though, Lindsay, I mean, the ANC still has the majority in the National Assembly, so surely there's zero chance of this passing.
Probably highly unlikely, Sally, but you know, it's all about the opposition. Politics have to be seen to be doing something, to be taking action, and I suppose there's always that hope somewhere that there would be some turncoats, some unhappy people in the ruling party who would help support that motion. But that's a whole other game of politics we can talk about some other time. But yes, the numbers wouldn't lend for it to be passed with any ease at all.
And then it's interesting you saying that this motion of no confidence that the DA is filing against the cabinet but not the president. We've got the EFF then saying that the president is the worst we have ever had. Tell us why they say that.
Well, they've just had it, and they differ very much from the DA, and in this case, what the president has said on job creation. They don't believe that that government should rely on the private sector to create the jobs. In fact, Julius Malema, the EFF leader, saying this would be like leading people to the slaughterhouse, and accusing the private sector of choosing foreign workers over local workers, alleging that these businesses can get away with treating them badly and paying them poorly because they are foreign workers. And so they've cited a number of examples around the world, China, Dubai, where they say the state has managed to create thousands of jobs, and so they are not in agreement that the private sector should be relied upon, and also taking pot shots at the president, saying that rather than telling the state that he buys local, you'll remember the president spoke about his suit and his shoes that he was wearing on Thursday evening. Rather, the EFF says, why is government not coming back and saying how much government itself, as a major procurement vehicle, what they are doing to ensure that government itself is procuring locally. And so they say every time the president takes to the podium, that being his sixth State of the Nation address, he's coming to the podium as if he's a new president all over again, and he's not really done anything to fulfill his commitments he's made over the years. Here's EFF leader Julius Malema.
The poverty and the joblessness of black people is getting worse under the current administration, with more than 1.7 million people who were previously employed losing jobs, and majority, if not all of these jobs, were lost in the private sector, which we are told it can create jobs. Despite this basic and verifiable reality and statistic, a president of a former liberation movement comes here to say that government does not create jobs, and the hopeless people of our people must wait for private sector to create jobs for them. Sending our people to the private sector for jobs is like sending a cattle for slaughter.
And of course, as part of this debate, we are also hearing from the ANC, and it was the minister in the presidency, Mondli Gungubela, who was speaking out for the president. What did he have to say?
Well, he's saying it's untrue that there's no movement on the commitments the president has made over the years. He spoke about imbizos that will be held in the coming weeks so that ordinary members of the public can also contribute to what they want to see, to the improvements they want to see. And then he also spoke about government taking action against those who have been fingered in corruption and state capture, and telling the House, which is also something we heard him tell Parliament Standing Committee on Public Accounts recently, that very soon, before the end of the month, there will be an action plan tabled before that very committee that will spell out exactly what the presidency plans to do and how they plan to act in terms of the recommendations made by the Special Investigating Unit on a wide range of reports, all related to corruption, and exactly the action that government plans to take. And the presidency plans to monitor and make sure that steps are taken against those who are cited in those reports for government to take action against. So here's the President's Minister in the Presidency, Mondli Gungubela.
You have captured the imagination of our people as you went on to ignite their hope, to heal their aspirations. Your undertaking to intervene in areas of security, infrastructure, cost of doing business, water scarcity, network industries, myriad of youth programs, gender equality, etc., including progress reviews, demonstrated that you know it is not enough to acknowledge problems when nothing is done about them. We support the President's assertion that unprecedented steps must be taken to strengthen and affirm our commitment to a constitution that protects us all. We oblige to this mandate to redress the iniquities of the past and ensure the progressive realization of assured prosperity. Mr. President, your comprehensive and responsive address was a rallying call to all people of South Africa to join hands in building a better life for all. By calling for a new social compact to implement South Africa's transformation agenda, you are affirming our constitutional directive that national unity in pursuit of human prosperity is a timeless phenomenon. You are alerting our minds to two fundamental revolutionary goals: that correcting the ills of the past and building a new South Africa which is inclusive, purely on the basis of humanity, are two sides of the same coin, which is nation building.
And of course, the State of the Nation address debate continues this evening. They are on a break at the moment, Lindsay, but I'm sure you'll be listening with keen interest to what the police minister has to say. And of course, we'll be taking that live here on ENCA this evening. Thank you very much, Lindsay Dentling.